Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on this Memorial Day. I'm Hoyt here with meteorologist Corrales Ortiz. You can tell it's Monday, can't we?
It's a mouthful, I know.
Indeed, but we love you here, and happy Memorial Day to you. A lot of people gearing up for the grill and the lake, or in the case of what I saw on the highway coming up here, both at the same time, doing about 80, towing a grill and a boat on the highway. So everybody's eager to get out there, and it's perfect weather for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually that unofficial start to summer, and that's a big sign of that, what you were describing for sure. And it's definitely going to be feeling like it out there. Pretty warm already starting off our afternoon with a high around 86 here in the metro. Many locations already hitting the mid to upper 80s this afternoon, with a few of those high clouds and a few of those cumulus clouds too here near at the surface. So we're seeing a mix of some sun and clouds out there. Your Memorial Day forecast with a high of 90 expected later this afternoon. Our evening is also going to continue to stay pretty mild as well as we continue to see this warm pattern for the next several days. We do finally see a change in the pattern. I know it's been very quiet these last few days. It's been absolutely beautiful, but it's been rain free. But we have rain back in the picture later this week. So I'll talk more about that and a look at the week ahead coming up.
Corrales, thank you. New at noon, Little Rock police investigating another homicide this afternoon. Officers responding to the 1300 block of Gila Valley, where they found a man's body. We are still waiting to learn who they are, how they died, and if police have any suspect information. We'll have that on our list of cases we hope to hear more about this afternoon, along with more details on the shooting death of a 7-year-old girl outside the Little Rock Zoo over the weekend. This afternoon, Arkansas Stop the Violence will hold a press conference in response to this shocking event. 7-year-old Chloe Alexander died at the hospital after the shooting along Fair Park Boulevard, just off Interstate 630 on Saturday. Her family says they were headed to the Little Rock Zoo. Police had lanes on the highway closed for hours as they looked for clues, and police say it stemmed from a dispute between people who knew each other. The child's family is praying for justice.
And whoever did it, I hope you find some type of sympathy in your heart and turn yourself in. She was only 7.
In a tweet, Little Rock Mayor Frank Scott Jr. wrote that detectives are working all viable leads to apprehend the person responsible. And we're going to have more from this afternoon's press conference. That's coming up tonight at 5 and 6. Meanwhile, Pulaski County Sheriff's Office, they're looking for clues and a suspect after a man is found dead. On Saturday, deputies responding to a home on Sandstone Drive in the southern part of the county. They found the victim dead in the driveway. That man's name has not yet been released. Police in Pine Bluff have made an arrest in a homicide from over the weekend. 34-year-old Ronald Spraglin now in custody, accused of killing 61-year-old Willie Buckley at a home on West 10th Ave Friday night. He's now charged with first-degree murder. It's the city's 14th homicide of 2022. And President Joe Biden says he will continue to push for gun control legislation a day after meeting with the families and victims of last week's shooting at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, that killed 2 teachers and 19 children. Meanwhile, Danya Backus sums up the latest details, including word that the Department of Justice will review all the police response from the incident.
Visitation is underway for 10-year-old Amarie Jo Garza, one of the young victims of the school shooting massacre in Uvalde, Texas. Her funeral service is scheduled for tomorrow.
Pain is palpable, and I think a lot of it's unnecessary.
President Biden returned to the White House Monday, a day after he and the First Lady visited the heartbroken community. The two laid flowers at the memorial outside Robb Elementary School and met privately with the victims' families. The president pledged to take action on gun violence.
I think things have gotten so bad that everybody's getting more rational about it. At least that's my hope and prayer.
Any time of day or night, you can find people visiting this memorial in the town square. While the residents of Uvalde continue to grieve, they are also demanding answers.
Families were fighting to get in. Wow. The shooter had an hour, almost an hour, 40 minutes, and people were fighting, and there's a lot of questions right now.
Parents want to know why law enforcement officers, including a federal tactical team, waited outside the classroom for more than 40 minutes, even as children inside repeatedly called 911.
Obvious that there were some errors made.
The Department of Justice says it will conduct a review of the police response. The DOJ says its goal is to identify lessons learned and best practices to help first responders prepare for active shooters. It will release the findings to the public. Danya Backus, CBS News, Uvalde, Texas.
And that Justice Department review will be conducted by the Office of Community-Oriented Policing, known as COPS. It is not a criminal investigation. Now, just a few hours down the road from Uvalde, gun advocates faced off with protesters over the weekend outside the NRA convention in Houston. The event unfolded as organizations that track shootings say 12 other so-called mass shootings took place across the country. Nicole Killian has the latest from Capitol Hill.
In Houston, a fierce divide between gun safety demonstrators and gun rights advocates outside the NRA convention.
Guns are killing people and no one's doing anything about it.
Just banning a gun isn't going to stop anything.
On Capitol Hill, where lawmakers left for the Memorial Day recess, Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy told Face the Nation he believes Congress can get at least 60 votes on gun legislation.
I do think there's an opportunity right now to be able to pass something significant. I've seen more Republican interest in coming to the table and talking this time than at any other moment since Sandy Hook.
Murphy is leading a bipartisan group of senators discussing proposals from expanded background checks to red flag laws, which allow courts to temporarily seize firearms from individuals deemed to be a risk.
I think there's a lot of problems with red flag laws, especially at a national level.
Convincing Republican rank and file remains an uphill battle, though some seem willing to budge.
Raising the age of gun purchase to 21 is a no-brainer.
At least 3 states have pledged action on tougher gun control laws in the wake of Uvalde. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson says he wants to convene a bipartisan group of governors, but argues the focus should be on school safety instead of guns.
AR-15s were around for 40 years before they were ever used in any type of mass killing or attack. It is about identifying the culprits and going after them.
Senate bipartisan negotiations are expected to continue this week. The House is working on its own package of legislation and could vote on a red flag bill as soon as next week. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
All right, let's take a look at the holiday travel rush coming off a chaotic weekend for many. It's filled with high gas prices and cancellations. The Memorial Day stretch is expected to be the busiest for travel in the last 2 years. Many drivers are already seeing prices near $5 a gallon. Experts say, though, there's a possibility that we could be seeing the gas price national average go even higher this summer. Meanwhile, more than 54 airlines had to cancel flights, over 5,400 flights from Friday to Sunday because of bad weather and other air travel issues. And one of those issues is a shortage of pilots. That's bad news for airline carriers as airports across the country prepare for that huge summer. Errol Barnett explains how they plan on handling this load.
Jenna Williams is moving toward his goal of logging 1,500 hours to become a commercial airline pilot.
Right now, I'm embarking on the 400-hour mark, and I spent about $60,000 to $80,000 to get an actual commercial license and to get to where you need to get to. It's going to cost over maybe $100,000.
The immense time and expense of certification will eventually place him in high demand. Over the next decade, more than 14,000 pilot openings are projected each year. But the pandemic slowed the rate of newly minted pilots, with only 4,300 graduating in 2021. At the same time, older pilots accepted COVID-era buyouts, further thinning the ranks.
We're not quite back up to the number of pilots that we had pre-pandemic, but we're close.
Southwest CEO Bob Jordan is ramping up hiring in search of 2,000 new pilots.
We have about 5-6% of our aircraft right now that we can't fly because we don't have enough staffing.
In Atlanta, Delta's chief training captain said his airline is confident it will meet demand.
We're hiring 200 plus a month, and we're training 400 to 500 pilots every month in qualification training. So we feel good right now.
Some carriers have long-term solutions for the pilot pipeline. United and Alaska Airlines created in-house flight schools, while Delta started the Propel program, helping staffers pivot to pilot life.
The industry says there is no quick fix. Some of the ideas being thrown around include raising the pilot retirement age from 65 to 67 or lowering that 1,500 flight hour requirement, but pilots' unions are staunchly against those changes. And so this pilot shortage is likely to last for years to come. Errol Barnett, CBS News at LaGuardia Airport.
Just in the last half hour, the Diamond Hogs found out where they will start the road to the College World Series in Omaha. The Razorbacks start off as the #2 seed in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where the Cowboys of Oklahoma State will play host. Grand Canyon University and Missouri State round out the other 2 teams in that regional. Play will begin on Friday. Well, summer is here, so are the reminders about food safety. Why the holiday is the perfect time to relearn a few tips and tricks coming up. Plus, Corrales.
Yeah, we probably have some people out there grilling on this Memorial Day. Hopefully you guys are applying plenty of sunscreen. A peek at what to expect for your Monday and the week ahead is coming up.